So one of my rules is I don't do coffee or drink dates. Now, I understand that some women like this or prefer this. However, for me, as for me and my household, we're going to have higher standards. I'm talking to this guy, and I'm going to read it to you because we've been talking for a couple days, and he started talking about meeting up. So he said, we should get together over some pear and lychee cocktails soon. And I said, that's really sweet, but I prefer dinner. I like to get dressed up. And he said, I see. What type of places do you have in mind? So I sent him a list of places that I've been like wanting to try, all sorts of different budgets, okay? It ranges from like medium to a little bit higher, all different locations around the city, so he can choose like what works for him, you know, timing and budget wise. So I sent the list of places. He says, these places sound really nice. I think it'll be fun to get to know each other over some nicer dining options. Here it comes though. But I wanted to let you know up front that if we were to meet at one of those places, I'm comfortable splitting the check. I usually will do drinks or something on the simpler end for the first meetup to see if there's a connection first. So my thing is...
What's your thing?
I don't like the coffee or drink date because they're trying to audition you to see if you are worth an actual dinner. This is the thing for me. Like, I know men.
Right.
The number one thing men are judging you off of is your looks, right? When they see you, they meet you, they're gonna be like, okay, how beautiful is she? Is she put together? Do I find her attractive, right? That's the number one thing. Your personality may come second, sure, but the first thing is how you look, right? So why would I put on a full face of expensive makeup, do my hair, make sure my nails are done, make sure there's no hair on my body, and then come and spend 2 hours of my time talking to you for an $8 coffee or a $16 cocktail? Be oh so for real. Let's take it even deeper.
Right.
When women go out with a man that they do not know, they take a huge risk. Men are crazy, okay? Do you watch the news? Like 1 in 5 men are violent. He could unalive you, he could RAPE you, he could stalk you, he could harass you if he feels like it. Like, it is very dangerous, extremely dangerous. Quite the contrary, men benefit from just being seen with you in public, okay? If you are beautiful, poised, well-dressed, it reflects well on him. People look at him and you and they think, oh wow, he must be the man. Ooh, he probably has money. You know what? He's probably a good guy if he can pull her. And this is especially so if you are more attractive than him. If he's fugly or he's overweight or he's short, they're like, oh yeah, he must have money in order to be able to pull a baddie like that. So my thing is like, what's in it for women? We've already spent more money than you by just putting our makeup on. We're in danger. Like, what's in it for us? So then all of that, plus this man is a pharmacist. Okay, you mean to tell me you make upwards of $150,000 per year, but you can't take me to $120 to maybe $200 dinner? 2 drinks, an appetizer, 2 entrees, and a dessert? Like, and that kind of thing. Look, men are supposed to be on their like best behavior when they're doing a first interaction with a woman. Like, that is when they are at their absolute best. So if he's being cheap now for a first interaction, he's gonna be cheap on your birthday, he's gonna be cheap on Christmas, like that kind of thing. That only gets worse. It never gets better. That is the type of man that's going to want you to work full time, pay half the rent when you guys move in together, do the majority of the housework because he doesn't want to hire a housekeeper, raise the kids, plan most of the things, and after you do your 16-hour shift of labor, he's going to want you to be happy and sexy for him, for his pleasure that night. Like, that's the kind of life you're looking at. So you know what? Good for this man for asserting his boundary. He did it very nicely, and it showed me what his like attitude or approach is when it comes to dating new women, and ultimately it gave me the opportunities to choose, and I have my boundaries too, so I chose to not accept it. And so I didn't respond or anything. I didn't like bargain with him or try to justify anything. I just quietly unmatched him because I wasn't gonna let him play in my face. But like, obviously if you're on TikTok, like this is not irregular discourse. Like, this is very popular. Like, the Red Pill podcast men are always talking about like all of these things. So like, it's not uncommon. Like, men are trying to get away with this these days. They're trying to see what they can do. They're trying to get at you for less than $20. Okay, so the pharmacist tried to give me a coffee date on a Friday. Saturday, a surgeon took me to a beautiful dinner with a view. The next day after that, this other man took me to this food event where the tickets were $250 because he wanted us to have VIP. So don't feel scarce about it, because there are plenty of men, there are a plethora of men that would be more than happy to show you a good time. So never settle. Date until you find the best man for the job, and you got this. That's my TED Talk for the day. You didn't ask, but I felt like you would listen. Send this to one of your friends who needs to raise their standards, and tell me what you feel like in the comments.
All right, ladies, if you are single, dating, in a relationship, we need to have a girl chat. I really need you to listen up. This wisdom is gold. Now, when you're young and dating, you're not really thinking about long-term stuff, and that's okay. I know a lot of women like to go for the bad boys, and they'll settle for barely a text back and the bare minimum. The standard for dudes is getting so much lower when your standard needs to be getting so much higher. Know that when you're young and you're dating, you're not really thinking about the long-term implications of if you do build a future with that person. So let me save you a lot of heartache and give you some wisdom that can save you. I met my now husband when I was 21 years old. He was one of the nicest, most persistent men I had ever met in my life. I never had to question if he was interested in me, if he wanted me, if he loved me. He was willing to do literally whatever it took to make sure that I was happy and that he held on to me. Meanwhile, I was seeing so many of my college friends settle for the absolute bare minimum from these guys because they were like bad boys and they were fun, they were exciting, whatever. Well, I ended up marrying that nice guy. We've been together for 9 years. And this man has the same quality character traits that he had then, even more developed now as a 30-year-old man. Let me give you a perfect example. He's on a work trip. He was just in a work meeting, texted me, hey, have you eaten lunch yet? I get pretty wrapped up in my work day and didn't think about it. I go to the front door, he has a sandwich delivered for me to make sure that I'm fed. My mom was feeling super burnt out the other day and wanted to go for a walk and realized that her sneakers had a hole in one of them. What did he do? He went online and he ordered her a pair of sneakers. My little sister had a long day at work. He texted her an encouraging text message to try and pick her up. If something needs to be done around the house, he's the first one to do it. And now I'm with such a gem of a human being, and I am so thankful that I didn't settle for any of the bad boys that were worth a chase back in the day. Because now I'm with somebody that treats me like a motherfucking queen. And you deserve the exact same thing. So if you are settling for the bare minimum right now, if you are seeing characteristics in a person that you're interested, chasing, dating, in a relationship with, whatever, that you don't want long term, get rid of them. There's still great men in this world, and you deserve to have one of them. It is better to be on your own, happy, and know your worth than to be with somebody that makes you question your worth.